Hey guys, welcome back to Hockey Hub. Today we'll be talking about best NHL moments of all time. Let's head into it. Number 8, Coach Lester Patrick plays goalie. It's not every day a 44-year-old coach comes off the bench and ends up playing goalie for his team in the Stanley Cup final. But that's just what Lester Patrick did for the Rangers back in 1928. Not only that, but he gave up only one goal behind a team determined to protect him, and the Rangers went on to defeat the Montreal Maroons in overtime. Patrick was long since retired as an active player and wasn't even a goalie when he did play. But for one night he strapped on the pads and helped lead his team to victory and eventually a Stanley Cup. A retired GM/coach coming out from behind the bench and playing goal just couldn't happen today. Now teams carry backup goalies on their roster. If both active goalies got hurt, teams would either fly in a player from the minors or use the goalie coach as quickly as they could sign him to a one-day contract. But it did happen in 1928 and the result was magic. Number 7, Bob Burns scores the cup-winning goal on a broken leg. Sometimes players just do improbable things that inspired fans. In 1964, defenseman Bob Burns was removed from Game 6 of the Stanley Cup final after suffering a broken leg. Miraculously, Bourne returned to action in overtime and scored the game-winning goal that led the Maple Leafs past the Red Wings. The Leafs went on to win Game 7 of the series and capture the Stanley Cup. Bourne was an unlikely goal scorer to begin with. He was a hard-hitting defenseman who was excellent in his own zone, but scored only 4 goals in 1963 to 1964 and never scored more than 8 goals in a season during his 17-year NHL career. He is forever remembered by the Maple Leafs fans and hockey fans everywhere for his heroic tally that helped bring his team a Stanley Cup. Number 6, Willie O'Ree breaks the color barrier.
James Duffy back in the NHL on TSN. Almost everyone knows the story of Jackie Robinson, what he did for his sport, baseball, what he did for his race. But up until about a decade ago, not too many knew much about Willie O'Ree, who 50 years ago tonight broke hockey's color barrier. David Amber now on a man who changed the face of our game.
During the 1957-1958 season, Willie O'Ree became the first black player in NHL history. For this, he is known as the Jackie Robinson of hockey. O'Ree only played 45 games in his brief NHL career, but later went on to become a true ambassador for the game, always handling himself with dignity and class in the face of prejudice. To this day, he remains active in promoting diversity in hockey and running outreach programs to include minorities in the game in both the USA and Canada. His hard work has inspired many players over the years. Number 5, Miracle on Manchester. It was a nearly impossible comeback. The Los Angeles Kings finished the 1981 to 1982 season 48 points behind the mighty Edmonton Oilers in the standings, and on paper they were no match for the young and talented Oilers. While Edmonton was still 2 years away from winning their first Stanley Cup, the talent was already in place. Look at the lineup Edmonton had. Wayne Gretzky, Jerry Curry, Paul Coffey, Mark Messier, Glenn Anderson and Grant Fuhr were already on the roster and showing how talented they were. The Kings trailed in Game 3, they started the third period just trying to salvage some pride and send a message for Game 4, but instead a miracle happened. The Kings managed a remarkable comeback, tying the game at 5-5 with just 5 seconds left on the clock on a goal by Steve Bozek. Then Los Angeles won the game at the 2-minute 35-second mark of overtime on a goal by Darryl Evans, which sent the crowd at the fabulous Forum in Inglewood into a frenzy. Remarkably, the underdog Kings went on to win the series in 5 games, concluding with a 7-4 win in the deciding contest. The upset was inspiring, but the Miracle of Manchester lives on as one of the greatest comebacks in Stanley Cup playoff history. Number 4, Gordie Howe returns to Detroit at the 1980 All-Star Game. It was the 23rd and final NHL All-Star Game of Gordie Howe's illustrious career, and the crowd at the new Joe Louis Arena in Detroit made it a special moment. Howe started his NHL career with Detroit in 1946 to 1947 and remained with the Red Wings until 1971. After a 1-year retirement, Mr. Hockey returned to the ice to play with his sons in the WHA, first with the Houston Aeros and then with the New England Whalers. He remained with the Whalers until the WHA folded after the 1978-1979 season. The Whalers, now renamed Hartford, were one of the 4 WHA teams to join the NHL in 1979 to 1980, and Howe remained with the club at the age of 51 for one final NHL season. Coach Scotty Bowman selected Howe to be part of the All-Star Game along with other retiring veterans Phil Esposito and Jean Vatel. Patel. The Detroit crowd had one last chance to shower the greatest player in franchise history with love, and when Howe was introduced during the pre-game ceremonies, he was given an ovation that lasted so long that he had to skate back to the bench just to get the crowd to stop cheering for him. Howe didn't disappoint the fans, picking up an assist as the Whalers Conference beat the Campbell Conference 6-3. Number 3, Ray Bourque finally lifts the cup. Ray Bourque played nearly 21 seasons with the Boston Bruins and filled those years with consistently excellent play that made him a shoo-in for the Hockey Hall of Fame. Despite playing in nearly 180 playoff games with the Bruins, however, Bourque had never played for a Stanley Cup winner and knew his career was nearing the end. In 2000, the Bruins dealt Bourque to the Colorado Avalanche, and 1 year later, in the final season of his career, Bourque finally won the Stanley Cup. Bourque was no passenger that year either. In 21 playoff games, he scored 4 goals and added 10 points. When it was Bourque's day with the Stanley Cup, he took it to Boston, where roughly 20,000 fans showed up at a rally to celebrate the moment. Number 2, Mario Lemieux returns after overcoming cancer. Mario Lemieux was at the peak of his powers in 1992 to 1993 when he announced mid-season that he was suffering from cancer and would take time off from hockey to undergo radiation treatments. Had he stayed healthy that year, it was possible Mario the Magnificent could have challenged Wayne Gretzky all-time single season records of 92 goals scored and 215 points. Lemieux made his first appearance after his cancer treatment in Philadelphia, the home of the hated Flyers. Instead of booing the captain, a leader of their interstate rivals, Flyers fans, gave Super Mario a standing ovation when he skated back on the ice for pre-game warm-ups. Lemieux scored a goal and added an assist, playing almost like he hadn't missed a beat. That season, he helped lead the Penguins to the best record in the league. For one brief moment, the rivalry between the Penguins and Flyers was put aside and Philadelphia fans cheered at the courage and fortitude of Pittsburgh's captain, which transcended the game of hockey. Number 1, Ace Bailey shakes Eddie Shaw's hand. Eddie Shaw ended the hockey career of Ace Bailey on December 12, 1933, in a violent stick-swinging incident. In fact, Shaw almost ended Bailey's life when he hit the Maple Leafs player from behind, causing brain damage. Bailey managed to recover after being so close to dying. He was even read his last rites. The very first NHL All-Star game was actually a fundraiser to benefit Bailey and his family in order to help pay for his medical expenses. Before the game began, Shaw and Bailey shook hands at center ice and embraced, showing that peace has been made between these two hockey titans after this horrible event. Both players were later inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.